Hello, Trish here with Giant Gems Cattery, and I'd like to share with you a recent experience that I had traveling with a kitten. I travel frequently to pick up kittens or deliver kittens from our cattery. My husband and I have always felt that it's way too stressful to ship a cat or a kitten cargo, so we avoid it at all costs. Kitten's health is so directly correlated with its stress level, and shipping them in cargo, you don't know what temperatures they're exposed to, the loud noises, it's just not good. We've had kittens shipped to our cargo that arrive really sick, really stressed. And from then on, I have panic attacks anytime they're put in a carrier to go to the vet. The kittens that have not been shipped cargo, we have not had the panic issues, the stress issues when they take the necessary trips in a cat carrier to and from a vet. Anyhow, when I travel to pick up a kitten, this is the cat carrier I like. I always choose one that is small, will fit under the seat so the cat can be right in front of me on the airplane. And also I make sure that it has a luggage strap right here so that when I'm going through the airports, it can sit right on top of my suitcase so I don't have to carry it. And also, this is the litter box system that I use. It is a small lunch box, and I fill it with either clay cat litter or pellets, whichever the cat that I'm picking up is used to. And I have a little tiny plastic scoop that fits in this zipper pocket right here that comes in handy then for scooping out the waste. I also take with me a very small cardboard box. And when I arrive and I have the kitten at the hotel with me, then I put the litter in that box. It's just slightly bigger. However, when I have my layover in the airport and I don't have access to another small box in my suitcase and whatnot, then I take this and I just take the kitten to the pet area and I open it up and I take the kitten out of the carrier and set the kitten in there to do its business. However, in my last trip, something unusual happened. Whenever I go through the airports, they always flag the cat litter as suspicious. And so I'm used to that. It happens 100% of the time. So they take the cat litter from me, they open it up, they ask what it is, and I explain it's cat litter, and then they put some chemicals on it and run some tests, and then they say you're clear to go, and off I go, get on my airplane. This last time I did that, I left Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I went through TSA, same usual procedure, they tested it, you're good to go, and off I went. And so I arrived in Seattle, and I was met at the hotel by the breeder that brought me the beautiful little kitten, and I set the kitten up for the night how I usually do in the hotel. This kitten was used to clay litter, so I always put a towel underneath the kitten litter box in case they spill out. I don't want it to get on the hotel floor. That way, if it does happen, I can just take the towel the next morning and shake it out into the wastebasket. So everything was going as planned and normal. I always take a shuttle to and from the airport. That way I don't have to spend money on a car. The hotel that I've selected has a good selection of sandwiches and whatnot that I can purchase so that I don't have to Uber out to go to a restaurant. I could just stay with the kitten because the kitten will definitely be nervous. So started the trip normal. Got to the hotel, let the kitten explore. The kitten was nervous. The breeder stayed with me for a couple hours visiting, make sure the kitten was going to adjust okay and be okay with me. And the kitten that night did her business in the litter box. Everything was fine. The next morning, I dumped the litter box, put my litter back in the portable lunchbox, and headed to the airport. I happened to head to the airport 2 hours early, thank goodness, because I thought I would just go ahead and have breakfast after I went through TSA in the airport. I went through the TSA line, which took much longer than normal. It actually took 45 minutes just to get through the TSA line. No problem. I still have plenty of time. The litter flagged, of course. It always flags. No concern. They were holding up. They tested the litter with the chemicals, and the TSA worker was holding up a strip, and he was looking at it very confused. He called over another TSA worker, and I heard him say, "Does this look purple to you?" And they're like, I don't know, maybe. They called over another worker. "Does this look purple to you?" I don't know, maybe. Then pretty soon a security guard comes and he said, they said, "Does this look purple to you?" And he said, "Close enough." And I'm thinking, what does this mean? What's going on? Then a lady came to me and she told me that the litter had flagged with a substance that had been tested positive for a substance. I was carrying a substance in it. And this same litter made it through Grand Rapids Airport. They tested it. It's the same system I've traveled with in and out of the Seattle airport multiple times. But she said, sorry, ma'am, it tested positive. We have a new testing machine or new testing system, and it tests for more things, and this is tested positive. So I've never had that happen. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what was going to happen next. I was very nervous. I'm thinking, am I going to miss my flight? How can it test positive? I'm assuming for drugs. Why else would they stop me? Then they told me they were going to have to do a very thorough invasive body search on me. They were going to have to go through all of my luggage, everything, every bit. And I'm okay. I'm saying, okay, whatever you have to do, let's get this done so I can make my flight. They were very polite. Nobody at any time was not nice to me. They were very courteous, very professional, polite. They started going through my purse, my luggage. They're swabbing everything with these swabs, running it through a machine. It's very loud in there. I can hear little bits and pieces. I heard him say there's litter in the suitcase too. And I'm kind of peeking over and I look, and sure enough, this little lunchbox hadn't been zipped shut quite all the way. And so I could see that litter had spilled in and on my clothes. And so then I'm thinking, oh, great, whatever just tested positive, and this is going to be on my clothes too. More things are going to test positive. I waited. I asked them, am I going to be able to get this litter back? And he said, no, ma'am, we're keeping it. And I said, well, can I have the case back? Because I'm thinking maybe the kitten would smell the litter in it and still go to the bathroom in it if it needed to relieve itself. And no, ma'am, we're keeping those too. And so I'm okay. And they continued to go through the rest of my luggage. They spent about 50 minutes at least going through my luggage and going through every piece. They took every single thing out of my purse. They took the liner out of the suitcase and checked under that. They took the inserts out of my shoes and looked, my shoes over thoroughly. I was very nervous at this point because I am thinking, okay, I don't know what happens if something tests positive through TSA. I don't know if they tell me I have to come back and be in a court date because I was carrying something illegal. I don't know if they come and arrest me. I mean, I had no idea what was going to happen. It was very frightening for a grandma here who's never even had a speeding ticket. And I did overhear somebody at one point say to one of the workers that was going through it, I did overhear them say, well, there's dust in litter. So I don't know if it flagged for dust, if their new system just tests for dust of any substance. I don't know. Then a female TSA worker came out and told me she had to do the body search on me. Did I want to go to a private room? At this point, I'm so nervous I'm going to miss my flight. I said, no, just do it here. Just get it done. And it was very invasive. She was very professional, very polite, but it was very humiliating, the body search that she did do in front of thousands of people. But there again, I'm just thinking of if they do let me go, the expense I would have of missing the flight and have to pay for an Uber or, whatever to go get more supplies for the cat, another hotel, stay at a nice hotel that allows pets, trying to book a flight to get back home. How would that work? So I said, please just search me here. Let's get this over with. So she did. So after all this, the man that's still going through my luggage started asking me what time my flight left. So I'm hopeful then, okay, they are still thinking that I might be able to leave and go on my flight. And I told him, and he asked what gate it was at. And so he was telling me, well, first he told me, maybe you better call your airline. And I said, no, I still want to try to make it. And he continued to search my things. And then he asked me what gate it was at. And I told him, and he says, well, that's quite a hike. But he told me the quickest way to get to my gate. And then he did say, everything else has tested clear. Somebody else came up to me. He said, everything else tested clear. And so I said, am I going to be okay to go? And he said, yes, you'll be okay to go. And he started putting things neatly back in my suitcase. And I said, please, 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 just throw everything in there. Throw it and just zip the bag shut so I can try to catch my flight. And he still was kind of putting things neatly back into the pockets they'd been in. And I said, sir, please throw everything in the suitcase as fast as you can and zip it shut. And he did. He just threw everything in there, zipped it shut, and they did throw my case back in there. They told me they were going to keep it. They threw it back in there. I don't know if they meant to or not. I just He zipped it shut. I threw the cat on top of it, and I went as quick as I could. And my flight was boarding at that time, but I was able to get on the flight and make it. So going forward, what does this mean? I would be too nervous at this point to fly with clay litter. I don't know how many airports have this new system that might flag, but it would make me too nervous to fly with litter. So this is my plan going forward to pick up kittens. It's not in the best interest of the kitten, I don't feel, because kittens need to void their bladder or their bowels so they can get infections or become ill if they don't. But I'm hoping this will work. So my plan going forward is to fly without litter. When I reach my destination and I pick up the kitten, I will ask the breeder to bring me a gallon-sized Ziploc bag of litter, and I will bring cardboard box in my suitcase, small cardboard box about this big, probably about 8 by 12 inches and a couple inches deep, and I will set that up on the towel in the hotel. But then what I do after the kitten does its business in the morning and I have to head for the airport, then I'm going to put these puppy liners in the cat carrier. And I'm going to bring several extra, and I'm just going to hope that kitten will relieve itself on the pad. And then I'll just be able to change it in the airport, and off we'll go again. If I have a layover, which usually going out from all the way across the country, there's one layover. So that is my plan going forward. Another thing to bring up too, I was recently talking to my vet about this. I explained to her my experience, and she says, first of all, anything that is put into cat litter, as far as drugs, it can never be extracted. Somebody that's smuggling drugs would never put it in cat litter because it can't be extracted. And that makes sense because I know I worked for a hospice years ago, and when our patients would die, the nurse would bring a Ziploc bag of cat litter, and they would dump all the morphine and the drugs from the patient into that and mix it up. And now I understand why, because it can't be extracted. But she was also telling me, though, because I was explaining to her that sometimes it's clay, sometimes it's wood pellets, and she was telling me that recently her and her brother had flown to Colorado, and he bought a little tiny picture, and it had a wooden frame, and he bought that, and the wooden frame wouldn't make it through TSA. They said you can't transport wood of any kind from one state to another. So I don't even know if wood pellets would make it through. So at this point, there again, I'm just going to use puppy pads, try to get as short of a layover as possible. And if the kit needs to do its business, it'll have to do it on a puppy pad that I can change. So I hope this information helps somebody out there, because I definitely would have missed my flight if I would have not been to the airport so early in order to try to have breakfast before the long day of flying. There's no way I would have made my flight, and it would have been a huge expense and very inconvenient with a kitten, and trying to find a hotel again that could take us that allows pets. So anyhow, I hope this information is helpful to anyone traveling with a kitten about some new security systems or some new TSA testing machines that might be out there if you're traveling with litter. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.